Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since we made one of these videos, but today I wanted to give you guys a full update on Stormgate, what's been going on with the game, the patches that have been releasing, and probably the most important bit of news that has come out of the team in a while is that the game has a new art director. So that could mean that the game will be receiving some big art changes going into the future. Before we begin, guys, as always, if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure that you are subscribed. I will continue to cover Stormgate going forward. I know there haven't been too many videos because life has just gotten busy and I've been out of the country for some time, but I'm back now. I'm also going to be covering other RTS games like Battle Aces and Zero Space. There is a test going on for Zero Space at the moment. It's under NDA, but soon the NDA will be lifting, so I'll be bringing you guys my thoughts about that game as well. And again, the same for Battle Aces. So if that is something that interests you guys, hit that sub button, and as always, thank you guys for the support. So let's begin with the biggest piece of news here, as I mentioned already, and this comes in the form of an update to Stormgate's roadmap. So those of you who were here at the beginning of Stormgate may remember that Frost Giant Games released a roadmap detailing exactly what and when they were planning to tackle for the game in terms of features, things that needed to be fixed, generally reacting to the feedback of the community, and those goals have been changing somewhat, so they've made a bit of an update to it here. However, I think arguably the biggest thing is that they say we are pleased to welcome Frost Giant's new art director, Alan Dilling, to the Stormgate development team. Alan is an industry veteran who was the lead artist for StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm, as well as the lead 3D artist and assistant art director for Legacy of the Void. He also contributed to Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, StarCraft Ghost, and Heroes of the Storm. Alan is currently onboarding and, as he ramps up, is planning for the future of Stormgate's visual identity. The current plan begins with elevating our core factions, starting with the Infernal Host. Please join us in welcoming Alan to the Frost Giant team. More details on our plans around art will be shared in the future. So, obviously, as you guys will be well aware, one of the bigger criticisms around Stormgate has been the choice of art style. Now, I think this is certainly a very good sign. Most of us will agree that the art styles of StarCraft 2, Warcraft, World of Warcraft, a lot of these games, and really what they're renowned for, is the art. You know, I think Blizzard have always had an uncanny knack to making a game look good, but also run well. They may not be the highest fidelity games in terms of graphics and pixel density, but the art has just always been absolutely top-notch. So to see this guy who's worked on these past Blizzard titles coming on board now to Stormgate, I think is certainly a good sign. On the other hand, I do believe it to be a bit of a double-edged sword. One of the major downfalls of Stormgate has really been that they have tied themselves so closely to the legacy of Blizzard by constantly talking about how they are ex-Blizzard developers, and it's led in some situations to these unrealistic expectations that the game is going to be a StarCraft 3, and they've really had to work hard at dispelling those expectations. And so is this new art director who's worked on all of these past Blizzard titles going to really confound that effort that they've made to dispel those expectations or not? I don't know, but overall I think it's definitely a positive thing, and I am excited to see what they do with the game here. Should we expect a complete and total overhaul of the art direction? No, probably not. I think they've just invested too much time and effort and money into the game at this point to do that, but at the very least he's going to steer the game in a little bit more of a realistic and I suppose less like childish direction, which is what most people have been complaining about and sort of had an issue with. So as for the roadmap itself, we'll take a look at it in a sec, but they have decided to move the next Vanguard hero to later this year in update 0.2. So this was supposed to come in originally a little bit earlier, but they've shifted gears and figured, you know, we need to really flesh out the co-op system a little bit better before we start adding even more heroes in. I definitely agree with that choice. And in that same vein here, they've also changed the co-op system so that now the gear system kicks into action much earlier. From level 6, you're going to get your first gear slot. Most people, including myself, didn't even know that the gear system existed in Stormgate co-op and that it was even a thing, so that's definitely a no-brainer there. And then they say here they're also making significant improvements to the Chapter 0 and Chapter 1 campaign missions, but we will be putting more time into polishing that content and anticipate their release in early 2025. And this is what the work includes. So they're changing the mission order to improve narrative flow. They are adding a new hub level, the Raptor 1, for players to explore between missions, so that's similar to what we've seen from other RTS games like StarCraft. They are overhauling the map layout and the mission objectives. updating most character models with improved designs and higher fidelity versions that support lip syncing and facial animation, incorporating additional playable heroes to more missions. They are adding a new hero leveling system and customizable abilities, improving campaign subsystems including items, journals and cutscenes, and then they are rewriting and re-recording a significant proportion of the campaign dialogue and improving how new units are introduced. So they're pretty much top to bottom going over the entire campaign, which at the moment is only like 6 missions or so, and they really want to just improve them and make them better. This is absolutely, no questions asked, the right decision. They should not be making any more campaign content until they have improved the campaign in its entirety, so I'm really happy to see them doing this. Yes, it is a little bit sad since some of us have already sort of purchased additional campaign missions through the Kickstarter and whatnot, but me personally, I'm absolutely fine with waiting for more missions if it means that the game is going to be improved overall, and if it means that when that 1.0 official release does roll around, there's a better chance that more players are going to be enticed to try the game and hopefully enjoy it. So here is the roadmap as it currently looks then. So coming soon, so this patch is actually already out, 0.1.2. We've got performance improvements, improved map terrain, and then the co-op gear update that I was just talking about. There's some free spooky login rewards for Halloween, so all you have to do is log in to claim those. They've also updated the range indicators, so for units like the Atlas or the Hellborn, you will now be able to see the range that those abilities can fire. The new 3v3 mode, Team Mayhem, the closed alpha for that one is going to be kicking off as well, invitation only. I haven't been invited, so I have no idea what that's going to play out like, and even if I would be, I wouldn't be able to share it. Hopefully, further testing is going to happen with that in the future, and I'm going to get to try it and share my feelings on that with you guys. And then there's also going to be another patch coming, 0.1.3, which will be a balance update then to tweak a lot of things in the game for the 3 different factions. Next up is then the 0.2 patch, so this is going to be the first big patch, I suppose, for Stormgate after it released in early access, and here we've got even more Team Mayhem testing, the new Vanguard hero that they've held back a little bit there, improvements to the gear system, more art improvements, audio improvements, more performance optimizations, and AI improvements as well. And then looking further towards the future, we've got fully customizable hotkeys. I know that's been a big point of contention that people want to be fixed there. Team Mayhem public testing, so eventually that is going to be coming as well. Chapter 0 campaign improvements, so those campaign improvements that I was just listing off there, they won't be coming until the first, it looks like beyond 0.2, so probably sometime next year. The map editor, of course, is going to be coming, new tier 3 and other units, more heroes, a co-op level cap increase to level 20, campaign with friends, that's been something that's been promised to us as well. You'll be able to just purchase a campaign mission and then play it with a friend who hasn't purchased it. Integrated tournaments, like directly within the client, I guess that means, war chests, learning tools, and then more performance optimization once again. So really good stuff there. Overall, I think that seems pretty promising. I'm, as always, excited to see where Stormgate goes in the future. I really am rooting for the team, and I hope they can pull off a miracle, because there's no point, beating about the bush here. The player base at the moment has dropped so low that it is becoming difficult to play co-op. It's becoming difficult to matchmake in ladder games. And so I think what most of us want to see here is just an increase to the player numbers. And I think a lot of these changes will go a long way in improving that, hopefully. So let's check out patch 0.1.2. All of the background footage here you guys have been watching is from that patch, and you may notice there has been a slight tweak to the aesthetics in the game, some slight shader passes there, improvements to lighting, just like a bit of a polished pass to the visual fidelity overall, so that's always good to see. But arguably some of the biggest changes are going to be the performance improvements. So they've improved a lot of the issues with DirectX 12, and if you have hardware that can support DirectX 12, that will now automatically be enabled in the game, and they say that they've seen increases in FPS by up to 50% on some of their hardware configurations in local testing. So that is absolutely huge. I have a pretty high-end rig, but once I started to get up to those supply levels of like 200, Infernal versus Infernal games, my system would really start to chug. FPS would drop to 30, 40, maybe even 20-something FPS at times. That really is just nowhere near high enough, especially not for an RTS game that looks like Stormgate does. It doesn't look particularly visually demanding, but I guess it is, especially on the CPU side of things. And another small change they've made here is to the rollback functionality. Now, rollback improves responsiveness, and this is one of the main innovative features of Stormgate. However, it does use up extra CPU power. So if your system is being heavily taxed on the CPU side of things, the game will automatically disable rollback to give you back a little bit of that CPU. I'm not sure how much of your CPU rollback actually uses, so like how much is this actually going to make a difference? Who knows? But feel free to comment down below, let me know if you've been playing the game and if performance has improved for you. As I already hinted at, there is going to be the improvements to the co-op gear system. They are already in the game. So first off, players can unlock the gear slots now for all heroes at level 6, and then a second one at 11, making the gear sort of viable at those early progression stages. You don't have to get really knee-deep in the co-op system to get access to that system anymore, which I think totally makes sense. They've also added a second set of colours to the unit. So instead of the standard red and blue now, you've also got this cool and warm colour. So the cool colour is like teal, turquoise, the warm one is orange. And so if you're playing 2v2, one team is going to play as the cool colour set, so that's going to be blue and teal, and then the other team is going to play as the warm colour set, which will be orange and red. You can also have it, of course, as friend and foe, and then every single enemy is just going to appear as red, no matter which player it is. And in this example here, you are appearing as green, and then your allies will be blue. So that's like pretty much it for the patch. Oh, there's also this one here, the camera angle. The game camera was lowered 5 degrees to subtly improve unit legibility and selection. So camera angle is something that Frostgiant have been messing about within Stormgate for some time over the various alpha and beta iterations. They zoomed in the camera, they zoomed out the camera. They've been trying to find the sweet spot, and hopefully this should help a little bit with legibility, like they say. Okay, so just to round out the video here, I wanted to talk a little bit about the 3v3 mode. Team Mayhem, they've just dropped a new development post about this. Welcome to Scorched Earth, and this is really delving deep into how they are creating the maps for this 3v3 mode. If you guys want to go and check it out and read the entire thing for yourselves, I will be linking all of this, also the patch notes, down in the video description, so feel free to go and have a peruse of that. But this is one of the new maps then, Scorched Earth here, where you have to, of course, destroy the core. So this is then like the second of 2 maps that we've seen so far. Now, as I mentioned already, I haven't had a chance to jump in and play this, but they did say a little bit here on like how they're selecting playtesters and how this is going to pan out for the people who are playing the game. So they say we are preparing to enter very limited closed alpha playtesting for Scorched Earth in phases, similar to how we handled our pre-alpha and alpha tests. Initially, we will invite a very small number of players, with more players brought in over the following weeks. We'll share instructions for how you can participate here on the official website and in the announcements channel on the official Stormgate Discord. This phased approach helps us gather valuable feedback while ensuring we can take some time to fine-tune the map and its mechanics before inviting additional testers. So if you're somebody out there who is sort of thinking, why am I not getting in on this testing? You know, I'm a Kickstarter backer, I've backed the game, I play the game, I feel like I'm being left out. I would say this is overall a positive thing for the game. If anything, we can sort of encapsulate Stormgate's story so far with them releasing things too early and the community at large, I would say, reacting negatively to them. So by doing smaller closed testing, I think they're going to be able to iterate on this a lot better and hopefully get it to a place where it will be much higher on the quality bar when they release it to the public at large, and it's the cat's out the bag at that point, right? You can't stuff it back in there, and I think they've seen and they've found that with much of the game, maybe they did release it a little bit too early. I can definitely tell you guys from my time playing the alpha and the beta tests that the general sentiment around the game was far more positive when the game was under closed testing and it hadn't been released to the public. Once it got released, I think during the Steam Next Fest for the first time, then we started to see a lot of negativity around it. And really, I think that should have been a sign that they should have put their heads down, in my opinion, for a lot longer before releasing into early access. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. You live and you learn, and the Frostgiant team have definitely learned from this, so that's definitely a good thing to see. Guys, as always, leave me your thoughts about this down below in the comment section. I would be absolutely thrilled to hear what you have to say about it. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching the videos. I really do appreciate it. And if you watched all the way to the end, because I know this has been quite a long one, drop me a comment down below and let me know, because you are especially appreciated. But otherwise, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.